All right, UFC 261 coming at you guys with the live pre-fight show. It'll be an exciting card. UFC back on pay-per-view. Main event is going to be epic. Figured I'd do this little live stream here, something different. Have not done a live pre-fight show like this before. We'll see how the views get. Just tuning in, smash the like button, subscribe. Start getting into it here momentarily. The main event, you have Jorge Masvidal takes on Kamaru Usman. Co-main event. Very exciting fight. You have Weili Zhang look to defend her belt against a very dangerous thug, Rose Namajunas. That fight is going to be amazing. And then you have, before that, another title fight. Valentina Shevchenko takes on the former strawweight champion Jessica Andrade. It's a very exciting event. I'm super pumped. We'll go through the entire card from top to bottom. We'll definitely go quicker on the undercard and then more of a detailed deep dive style breakdown on the bigger fights on this main card. But let's start it off, and if you're just tuning in, smash the like button so we get that algorithm pumping, get everybody coming in here soon. It is a short notice live stream. I do apologize about that. I do want to start doing live pre-fight shows before the UFC pay-per-view events. So let's start it off with the first fight of the night, Connolly and Jingliang. You guys remember at the weigh-ins yesterday, you saw the size difference was real as far as the height goes. Jingliang is a very tall woman. She's listed at 5'5". To me, she looked more like being on the lines of 5'7.5", maybe even 5'8". And she's taking on Connolly. Connolly is a good opponent for, height-wise, but beast in the clinch. A girl with some power in the hands, but not like devastating knockout power, but does have a bit of pop, does move forward, does pressure. When this fight begins, I feel it's going to be Connolly using a lot of forward pressure, closing the distance inside of the taller Jingliang. And I feel like we're going to see Connolly en route to a win here. I do think she's a fairly confident pick. You never know with these Asian proteges, especially when they haven't had crazy amounts of high level experience. And to answer you in the comments, am I getting wasted tonight, bro? That's not the plan. I think I'm just gonna enjoy the fights. I won't be doing a live stream, just doing it with family and friends. Gonna be watching the fights. Got some people coming over, so won't be live for the fights, but I'll be right away after the event. I got full post fight coverage. Take a shot, Joe Rogan says. Honestly, I've definitely gotten drunk before for UFC events, but I just feel like I can't coherently remember as much of it as I'd like to, which is the main reason why I won't be, because I got a lot of post-fight stuff. Make sure you guys smash the likes if you're just tuning in. Let's get it pumping. But let's talk about the second fight of the night. It's another good matchup. I'll be honest, I'm pretty pumped for every fight on this card, and I do like the women's fight to start it off. I think there's some potential of entertainment there. I like Connolly the pick. I don't love the bet on her. Jeff Molina and Quillan Aori. It's a competitive fight. Similar size, similar styles, really, for both of them. Both good strikers, both dynamic. I do like Jeff Molina in this fight. He's a Dana White's Contender Series alum. He put on a good performance on that Contender Series. Quillan Aori is not to be doubted here. He is a tough matchup, and I do think he's a very real fight for Jeff Molina. It's a close matchup. I think Aori brings in some good striking. I appreciate you, man, for tuning in. 3 a.m. You got to tune in for the main card, dude. I'm so sorry that it's like that. That's tough stuff, man. Shoot, I'm very thankful that we're on the States time here, having the fights at 10 o'clock. And even 10 o'clock is late. Like, sometimes I wish they'd start at 9 so they could be over earlier, because I'm up late doing all the post-fight coverage. I like Molina to win this fight by submission or decision. I talked about it earlier. Aori does have 3 submission losses and 3 decision losses. Molina also brings 5 submissions on the resume. Do I love the bet of like a prop bet submission here? No, I don't here. I think that more realistically, we're going to see Molina in a competitive striking match with Aori. There will be scrambles on the ground, but I like Molina in this fight, and I think he goes out there and he gets it done. I'm going to pick Molina here, and I do think it is competitive. If you're looking for a pick'ems fight to throw some money down on, this definitely could be one of them, but it is a higher risk fight because truly competitive action, and with Aori, there's still so many question marks. I mean, Watching footage of him is one thing. How is he going to fight in his UFC debut? He could be substantially better since the footage that we've seen of him. So it's a scary pick, but I do think Jeff Molina does win on a very competitive decision. And I am going to stick with my original pick from earlier on in the week. All right, let's see what the next fight on the card has storing for us here, man. I'm pumped for this UFC card. I'm stuttering over my words. I'm so excited. It's starting soon. Smash the like button if you haven't yet. I appreciate all you guys for tuning in. This is a new thing. Before UFC pay-per-view events, I need to be doing the live post-fight show. So it's definitely going to be a thing from here on out. Zhang, Rodrigo, Vargas. I actually think this is going to be fireworks. This Zhang kid, freaking nasty. He's 21 years of age. He's fighting a 35-year-old fighter. Already, the signs are going to point to where this fight's going. Rodrigo Vargas on a 2-fight losing streak. I think impressive win is probably what's going to happen here for Zhang. Granted, Vargas was beating Brock Weaver in the last fight. It's Brock Weaver, no disrespect to him. He's a good enough fighter. But compared to the UFC caliber of guys, he's not at that same level. And I feel like here we're going to see the slick kickboxer and Zhang put on a very good performance. I could see him getting a stoppage because he does have 11 knockouts on the record and good counter striking. But Vargas has shown fair durability in the past and is an aggressive striker in his own right and a southpaw. Granted, if wrong, can set him up for a straight down the line. That's how you get these southpaws. He could win by knockout. I think Zhang, I like inside the distance. I also like decision. I think TKO or decision is a very realistic outcome here. At minus 250, Zhang is an excellent parlay addition. If you guys are looking for parlays to play, I think Zhang is definitely one of them. Thank you, my man. Thank you, my man. I appreciate the compliment, man. Zhang here is going to be my pick. I'm going to be sticking with him. I've picked him throughout the week. I think he's going to put on an excellent show for us, and I think he's going to be fairly dominant here against a much older Rodrigo Vargas. The age difference is a substantial factor, in my opinion, in this fight, and especially as much momentum riding in for Zhang, a very hot prospect with 20 fights at 21 years of age. Next fight on this card, Dana Batigrol and Kevin Natividad. I really like Batigrol. I was hype on Natividad coming in, and I still think he's a good fighter, but I just think Batigrol is going to be a very serious fight for him. Guido Canetti, he beat him by a knockout. Does have a loss here to Heliang Alaton by a decision, but I mean, has had good performances, and I think matches up fairly well against Natividad, who's coming off of a pretty bad knockout loss against Miles Johns in the last one. That's one of those knockouts that could do serious damage. I mean, he went straight back and out. That was brutal. Striker versus striker fight here. Both are going to come out looking to pressure forward and mix it up. I don't think this fight goes the distance. I like Batigrol by knockout inside the distance here. I think he's going to go out there and beat Kevin Natividad. We need to pull up best fight odds because I want to check what the prop bet is at right now if you're looking to play a prop. What's my thoughts on UFC fighters getting beaten in other promotions? Let me quickly answer that question. There's good fighters outside the UFC. That's the truth. And Anthony Showtime Pettis definitely wasn't on his game. I mean, not you know what? Take that back. He hasn't been on his game in a long time, and that's why he lost to Clay Collard. No, it's not an argument. UFC has the best fighters consistently. You know, you match up the UFC's champions or even their top 3 versus anybody outside the UFC. Most of the time, the UFC guys will win. Granted, there are very good talents outside, but majority and depth of divisions, UFC has the better guys. All right, so what is the fight we were on? It was Dana Batigrol and Kevin Natividad. I want to look at the knockout prop bet here. I don't think this fight goes the distance. You can find a plus 275 Batigrol. If you can get that, I'd pick it up at Intertops. Maybe throw a little sprinkle down on it and make yourself a bit of dinero, because I do think he can knock out Natividad in this fight. Natividad, aggressive guy, he's going to come to fight. And I think he does get put to sleep here in a competitive bout. But mostly striking, I got to go with the favorite and Dana Batigrol. There are definitely a couple of live dogs here, though. I mean, Natividad would definitely be one of them, but I still really am feeling Batigrol. But this fight here is very interesting for me. I did pick Patsabatini, but if you watched the weigh-in recap, you saw where I talked about how this is truly a pick'ems matchup. This is very competitive fight, and I do feel like it can go either way. And this is the most stacked UFC card in a long while. This is an excellent event. With Boondock, Tristan Connolly, his last fight, a year and 7 months ago at welterweight, he beat Michel Pereira. He's taking on a hot prospect in Patsabatini. But if you're looking for a dog with possibility, it's Tristan Connolly. I do not feel a bet on Patsabatini. I don't put him in any parlays. I'm not playing with him. He's a good fighter and he does have tools, but he's fighting a guy with a similar skill set. Both guys have submissions on the resume. 9 submissions for Tristan. For Pat, 10 submissions. Both good wrestlers, both dangerous on the ground. I mean, we're probably going to end up getting a striking match between two good grapplers, again, unless one of them is really able to overwhelm the other with the wrestling and prove to be better than the other. I feel like Tristan Connolly, my biggest fear is that he's at 145, where he recently fought at 170. It blows my mind that he even made weight. But Patsabatini is by no means a lock here. Maybe Connolly as a dog pickup by a decision if you're looking for a prop. I could see that outcome. We'll quickly check that out. But I do like the closeness of this fight. Skip the bet if you're looking to bet on the favorite. I'd say this is more of a dog or pass bet fight, to be 100% honest, because I don't have supreme confidence in Sabatini by really any means. And he does have a good skill set. Connolly by decision, you're sitting at a plus 375. I do think that's a decent prop bet. I do think he could beat Sabatini, but I could also be wrong, and Sabatini could come out like a savage. Earlier in the week, I did pick Sabatini. I have stuck with him as my pick, but it's not a guy I would put money down on. Dog or pass this one, in my opinion, and I do think there's legitimate possibility of upset in this fight. Yeah, Connolly, he's a monster on the ground, man. He's an absolute animal. If you're just tuning in, smash that like button, and let's get it pumping. Let's get some more viewers up in here. We're looking right now for 8 likes. So if we're at 5 right now, I mean, if you guys watching the replay after, this doesn't matter to you. This is for everybody who's here live right now. Smash that like button. If you're not watching live, smash the like button too. Yeah, he does have a great team. I gotta relook at his chest, man. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't pay closely enough attention. I'll have to relook at that image. And quickly, if you want, I can pull it up as well. We can look at it. You know what? We got time here. Let me quickly pull up the image of Connolly from the weigh-in yesterday. You have it right here. I'll see if I can see his chest. I don't know if we'll be able to from this angle, but why not find out? Let me get this image for you guys here. Sabatini and Connolly here. No, we cannot. He's cut off from here. But I will take a look at that chest afterwards, and we'll see. But let's talk about the next fight of the night, but definitely live dog in Tristan Connolly. Brendan Allen, Karl Roberson. At one point, Roberson had a lot of momentum in the light heavyweight division. Definitely doesn't have that same anymore. I mean, he's lost some fights. Vettori beat him, but granted, he lost to decent guys like Glover Teixeira as well at light heavyweight and has won fights. Brendan Allen brings probably the trickiest stylistic matchup for him. I mean, a guy that is very effective with his grappling game, and that's going to be a struggle to deal with for his opponent in this fight, being Karl Roberson, the striker, a dangerous striker. I mean, Roberson is excellent with his kickboxing. He's a glory veteran. He has a lot of striking experience, but fighting a guy with an opposing style, yeah, hit up those boys, my man. Let's get the likes pumping. I appreciate you, Bipolar Nobody. You're a good man. But I feel like Karl Roberson on the feet is very effective, and he could definitely beat Brendan Allen in a striking fight, 100%. But here's the thing. I believe this fight will take place on the ground. Roberson will chain wrestle. He will force the takedown, and I think that you're going to see Karl Roberson go out there, or rather, Brendan Allen go out there, and I think he beats Roberson inside the distance by a submission. I could also see a decision for this fight if Roberson is able to tough it out, but I do see him getting put on his back and being put in bad positions. Brendan Allen had a hiccup in that last fight, knockout loss to Tom Breeze, but that's a different style matchup. Breeze turned out to be a bit of an animal out there and really will put a number on Brendan Allen in a fight that a lot of people didn't expect that outcome. I thought Allen was the hot prospect to pick, but we're going to ride with Brendan Allen to win this fight by a submission. And another good fight on this prelim card. There are some good fights throughout this entire card. I'm excited, man. We're starting soon, too. I mean, what time is it right now? For me, it's 5 o'clock. So we're going to be seeing live fights. At least if you're watching this live, it's less than 1 hour away. So that's going to be awesome. I think it's a fun prelim. Dwight Grant, Stefan Sekulek. Dwight Grant looked a little bit old at weigh-ins. I don't know if anybody felt the same way. He looked like an older guy now, especially with that mustache. Didn't do him any favors. I feel like Stefan Sekulek is a very live underdog. I think he could pose a lot of problems. I talked about it earlier in the week. Looking at the weigh-ins yesterday, I felt confidence in Sekulek as well. I am very confident that we see Stefan Sekulek pull off an upset. And Dwight Grant has the knockout power to put Stefan to sleep. I do agree with that. But when older fighters get knocked out quickly in fights, it's usually a sign of a downhill spiral. I can't guarantee it is, but split decision 2 years ago, and then 8 months ago he gets knocked out. Stefan Sekulek is a very good grappler. I think that poses problems for Grant. On the feet, Grant has the edge, but I'm going to go with the dog. I'm going to take the risk here with the dog. Some people may say it's a crazy pickup, but I think 29 versus 36, prime versus possibly out of his prime. It's a smart dog pick. Stefan Sekulek, let's see where the odds are at. Around plus 170, you can get them ranging depending where you go. And I think that Sekulek is a dog pick with potential here, and I think he can beat Dwight Grant. That's going to be my prediction for this fight, and I do think using a heavy grappling attack, this guy was able to put Razmanov on his back, and I think he can do the same to Dwight Grant. Next fight, in the featured prelim, Alex Oliveira looked really good at weigh-ins. I don't know if you guys felt the same way. He looked like the Oliveira that brings it, which made me a bit fearful for Randy Brown. As a favorite, I would say this fight is more of a dog or pass fight. I don't like Brown on my parlays. I have him on none. And I don't like a straight up bet of Randy Brown either, to be honest with you. I feel like this fight right here is going to be fun. And I think it's going to be very interesting, to say the least. Because both of these guys pose, a good skill set. And yeah, we're close to 10 likes, guys. So smash that like. We're at 9. We need 10. I appreciate everybody tuning in as well. I feel like this fight right here could be absolute fireworks. It's a featured prelim fight because they know it's entertainment and action. I mean, when is Oliveira really in boring fights? Randy Brown has had some of the weirdest outcomes in his fights as well. I mean, he's winning fights. He gets knocked out. He gets caught. I feel like this fight right here between these two is action. Hey, we appreciate you, man. Appreciate the support. You're the man, bro. Appreciate you, Bipolar Nobody. But this fight's going to be good, guys. I'm telling you, Alex Oliveira looked really good. Dog or pass this fight. Do not throw down on Brown. I'm just not confident in him. I know that I did pick him earlier in the week, but when you see the way, you see the guys face off against one another. Oliveira looks supremely confident. Am I jumping to say that I'm switching the pick? No, but I'm sprinkling a dog bet on Alex Oliveira. That's why you guys got to tune in to the pre-fight shows and the weigh-in recaps, because at the end of the day, as the week goes on, I listen to interviews, I watch the pre-fight content. Sometimes things shift because you're only as good as your last fight, but really you're only as good as you looked the day prior to the fight, in my mind at least. And Oliveira looked very good, and I think that he has a legitimate chance here of beating the very skilled Randy Brown. And I'm gonna go more on the side of dog or pass. Dog or pass. That's my opinion on this. Dog or pass. Randy Brown, not confident in that favorite. Over 3.5 rounds at minus 220. Okay, let me answer that for the main event. We're going to talk about the main event in detail, but I want to give you a quick answer if you are going to bet. I think it's highly possible, but I don't like that they have you putting 220 down to make $100. If at over 3.5, I don't love it for minus 220. I think if it was minus 220 for over 2.5, I would say go for it. But at minus 3.5, personally don't like it. This fight here, though, as I said, dog or pass. Dog or pass it. Be smart here. Randy Brown is not a guy that consistently performs well. Alex Oliveira, one thing we know, he's game as hell. I think the dog could really pull it off, and sprinkle a little something on him is a possibility here if you're looking to place bets. If you're a betting man, Alex Oliveira is live. The next fight is going to be the first fight on this main card. We finally arrived to the main card. I am so excited for this fight because Jimmy Crute is a prospect that you all need to keep a close eye on. He has one bad loss to Sirkanov, but he had good moments in the fight. And it was really just, he went on the ground with a tricky grappler. And when you're doing jiu-jitsu, crazy shit happens. It's the same thing in fighting with grappling. I mean, sometimes you get caught in submissions, even if you're a very good fighter. And I think Jimmy Crute, you look at his competition level, guys that he's beaten, I don't see Misha Sirkanov being competitive with. But that fight just happened to go that way. He's also 25 years old. How much do fighters improve from 24 to 25? Insane amounts. What was that? 1 year and 7 months ago? That was a very long time ago. At that time, he was 23 years of age. Very forgivable loss. He's 12-1 as a pro. He's got 2 straight impressive wins. But Anthony Lionheart Smith, excellent kickboxer, good on the ground, but not the best when it comes to getting back up to his feet, when it comes to stopping takedowns. He'll get put on his back. We've seen him controlled throughout fights in the past. For me, in this fight, it's very difficult to go against Jimmy Crute here. He's a hot prospect. Everything seems to be in his favor, in my opinion. And I feel like we're going to see Jimmy Crute put on the performance of a lifetime. I predict that he is going to beat Anthony Lionheart Smith. I think he could possibly do it by submission, but I'm really leaning towards you see a decision victory. I could see it looking similar, potentially similar to that Alexander Rakic fight. But I will say I think Crute goes for it more than Rakic did. Rakic was a bit more complacent at grinding out that decision, whereas I think Crute is a guy that wants to finish, and he knows those finishes are obviously going to give him a fast track towards a title shot. So if Crute gets the finish, watch out for that next opponent he's going to get, because he's going to be jumping highly as far as rankings go. But I like Jimmy Crute here, and I do think he's a decent parlay pickup. If you want to throw straight money down, you could, but definitely decent parlay pick as well. Anthony Lionheart Smith, though, I will say, of course, poses a serious threat from kickboxing range. Chris Weidman, Uriah Hall. Can we be supremely confident that Chris Weidman's going to go out there and beat Uriah Hall? Absolutely not. Can we be supremely confident of the opposite result? Absolutely not. This is a matchup between two guys who are high level, but have had bad moments. I mean, yes, Uriah Hall is riding a 3-fight win streak, but you got to dig deep. He was losing most of that fight to Bevon Lewis. He pulled a split decision against Antonio Carlos Jr. Then you look at his last fight, not the best performance against Anderson Silva. Granted, it's Anderson Silva. It's interesting, though, Uriah Hall beat Anderson Silva. If he can beat Chris Weidman, he essentially lived up to the hype in some way that he had on The Ultimate Fighter, because then he'd have beaten the champion and the champion after from the season that he was on, where, that was the guy that we were talking about who will be making a run towards a title shot. Uriah Hall has been a primetime contender, and I'll be 100% honest, years later, I will say I think he has lived up to the expectation. I mean, I think the expectation may have been a bit too high, but realistic expectation, he's a contender and he's fighting Chris Weidman. I think that there's possibility for Hall by a knockout, and if Weidman wins, I think it's more likely on a scorecard. I think chain wrestling is going to be in store. I do feel Chris Weidman wins here, but I don't know. How do we say it? I don't have supreme faith in Chris Weidman. You can't. I mean, look at bad performances, back-to-back, losses. I mean, the dude was at one point 13-0. Now he's 15-5. That's 2-5 since then. That's not good. I feel like this is going to be a difficult fight. Uriah Hall has a legit chance for an upset by knockout. This is another one of those dog or pass bets, but I will say I have more confidence in Chris Weidman. You know what? Take that back. It's not a dog or pass, because you could make some money on Weidman at the minus 130. I'm going to pick Chris Weidman to win a close decision, a grinding, grappling heavy decision, but a Uriah Hall knockout prop bet could definitely deliver for you. And since I think it could, I do want to look what value you can get on that. I don't think the odds are going to be great for the knockout prop bet, because I did look yesterday, plus 230. It's more of a sprinkle. I don't think it's worth throwing a lot of money down on a possibility. I think more so likely would be Weidman chain wrestling the hell out of Uriah Hall and getting himself a win. Don't worry, man. Omar, I think Weidman is going to win a decision, but we have to acknowledge the fact that there is legitimate punching power and kicking danger from Uriah Hall. Weidman should be good to go. He should win this fight. I'm picking him to win this fight. I take back, I didn't mean dog or pass. That was a mistake on my part. Chris Weidman to win in a competitive fight, that isn't a guarantee. But I do think Weidman is victorious in this matchup. I'm sticking with Weidman. I think that he will, with the minus 130. I mean, the odds are close enough. I think he will win. I think if you want to place a bet on him, you could. Just be intelligent about it and don't go too crazy, because this is a high-risk fight. You're taking on Uriah Hall, who's known to have crazy comebacks and just strange knockouts. I mean, the guy does crazy stuff. Now we've arrived towards the championship This is so exciting. 3 championship fights. These are 3 main events back to back. This is so amazing. The UFC is doing this for the fans. I'm so happy the fans will be back. It's needed. If you haven't yet, smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate everybody for tuning in to the pre-fight show, whether you're watching live or you're watching it on a replay. You guys are all fantastic, and I appreciate all you guys' love and support. Valentina Shevchenko, Jessica Andrade. Andrade is game. We know she's game. She has one bad loss recently, and that was a fight she got caught in against Weili Zhang, who's amazing. You look at the Rose Namajunas fight, she gave Rose Namajunas hell. If that was 5 rounds, Andrade was going to win that fight. You look at the most recent bout, first round knockout of Caitlin Chukagan. The punching power is serious of Jessica Andrade, especially if she gets you with a body shot. A crazy pick would be Jessica Andrade by body shot knockout over Valentina if she somehow landed a body shot and took the wind out of the sails. It's really the only outcome is Andrade knockout for me. I don't really see her winning it elsewhere. I do know she has very good jiu-jitsu, but I do not believe, even though she's physically strong, I don't believe her style with the grappling will be able to pose that same difficulty as we saw Jennifer Maia do to Valentina. And granted, Valentina was still able to win that fight. Valentina Shevchenko should win this one. I'm leaning decision. I think Andrade is hard to put away. I think she'll be there for 5 rounds. If there is a knockout, I think it's a counter head kick by Valentina, and I think it would be an emphatic fashion knockout. If there's an Andrade win, I think more so by a KO. I don't think she will be able, if she gets Valentina down, I don't believe she'll be able to control for like 3+ minutes, if there's time left in the round. I don't think that's what happens here. I think more so it's Valentina Shevchenko winning this fight with her superior Muay Thai skills. And I am going to ride with Valentina in this fight for the victory. That is my pick. I think that we are in store for absolute entertainment here between these two girls to start it off. Valentina is a personal parlay addition. You can play her as well. For fun, I do want to look at Jessica Andrade by KO. I don't think that there's a lot of likelihood of this, but if Andrade is to win, I do think it's probably by a knockout. Let's quickly check out what those odds are. The over 3.5 is -115. If you guys are looking for over, I don't love it, but I don't hate it. Over 1.5, -270. I think that's very likely. Unless Andrade got caught early, I don't necessarily see her lasting less than 3 rounds. Like, I see her being in there to fight. Plus 930 for Andrade to win by knockout. If you want to throw like a few dollars down just for fun, sprinkle that one as a prop bet. It's not that likely, but I do think it could happen. More so, I think Valentina Shevchenko is a great parlay pickup. There's some prop bets you can do on her, but I don't love any of them. Shevchenko to win by a submission is plus 525. Likelihood not substantial, but possible, most definitely. Shevchenko inside the distance, plus 100. Shevchenko not inside the distance, minus 1,300. Shevchenko has so many ways to win, and she even said it herself. There will be a surprise, but just in my favor. We don't know really how she's going to win. I think she can kind of do it all so well that it's very hard to pick a prop bet for her. I like Valentina as a parlay pickup. I like a fun, playful, very mild knockout prop bet on Andrade if you just want to play with some money and gamble a bit and just have some fun, something you're not worried about losing, like $5, $10. But I don't think there's a huge possibility that you make that money back. Weili Zhang and Rose Namajunas. Thug Rose Namajunas, always game. It's going to be a very entertaining fight between both these girls. I'm super excited to see it. Weili Zhang, or Zhang Weili as the UFC has it, Topology has it backwards. It's going to be an absolute firefight. She's China's champion, their first ever UFC champion. Moderate favorite here. The odds opened up a bit closer, but they've spread just slightly. Thug Rose Namajunas is definitely game and live. The way that I see this fight playing out is Rose Namajunas, for the first 2 rounds, is going to be extremely good and competitive. I'm going to be honest, don't be shocked if we see Weili Zhang maybe look to mix in some takedowns, because Rose in the first 2 rounds is one of the scariest kickboxers in women's MMA, especially in the strawweight division. She has a first-round knockout over Joanna Jędrzejczyk. You saw the damage that was done by Weili on Joanna, and she did not go down. Granted, the rematch, it was 5 rounds. Rose Namajunas has the ability to outpoint fighters, and stylistically, though, Weili Zhang is a very different threat than Joanna Jędrzejczyk. I think the matchup for Rose is difficult here as it gets later on. The pressure will be constant for Weili Zhang. She's going to continue to move forward, continue to pressure. She'll look to clinch up. She'll look for takedowns. She'll look to mix it up with striking. There's so many things that she does very well, which makes it extremely difficult for Rose Namajunas here. After the second round, I believe Rose is in trouble. I'm seeing a fourth round TKO or submission for Zhang Weili. I just feel like she's going to put it on Rose late. I love Thug Rose Namajunas, and if she was able to win, I would eat my words and happily eat my words. Like, even these predictions, sometimes, man, in the back of my mind, I hope that I'm incorrect, but I feel like Zhang Weili is a very difficult fight for Rose, and I do think the inside the distance prop is not terrible, but I do feel like Rose is dialed in. So do you want to take that risk? I like the minus 200 straight up bet of Weili Zhang. I will predict this very likely is fight of the night and one of the best fights you guys have ever seen. It could be like the Joanna and Jacek fight. Like, this could be another legendary fight. I really hope it is. Zhang by a TKO plus 275. Zhang by a submission plus 950. Zhang inside the distance plus 210. They're expecting it more so to go the decision here, but I do feel like Rose Namajunas potentially could start feeling the effects after that second round. You look at that Andrade third round. You look how good she did. Over 2.5, I love it. The over 2.5 on this fight, I do like. Let's actually check what that's worth. Sorry for not clicking on that. If you have any questions in the live chat about the betting stuff, just let me know, and I'll specifically go towards it. All right, over 2.5. At minus 240, I don't love the price. That's my biggest concern here, but I do think it is a very high confidence that we're going over 2.5 for this fight. I think both of them in the first 2 rounds, 2.5 competitive action. And I do think you'll see towards the middle of that second round, or even the beginning of, or rather third round, towards the middle of that third round, or even like later in the beginning, you know, past 2 minutes, I think Zhang Weili will start to shift towards her. I think the fight starts going her way. And I am going to pick Zhang Weili to win this fight. And I think she does it by TKO in the 4th round. Could see it by a decision as well. I do hope Rose Namajunas goes out there and goes the full 5, and I hope we get one of the best fights we've ever seen. It's going to be an awesome bout. If you're just tuning in, make sure you guys smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate everybody for tuning into the live stream, especially on short notice. I just popped it up on Instagram. Hey guys, I'm going live in 15 minutes, and I am glad that we got some people tuning in. You guys are great, and I appreciate the continued support. Main event time. Make sure you smash the like button for this main event. Fire card, fire main event. I hope this fight is more entertaining than the first one. I believe because fans will be in the building. Pay attention. If Usman is doing that foot stomp style, the boos are going to come fast. There's going to be pressure towards the referee to break them apart. Trust me, this fight might surprise us and go slightly different just simply because fans are in the audience, and it will prove how different fights can be with fans. When there are fans, something could happen here. And you got a question, where do you place your bets? Where do I place my bets? So I use a couple. I like betonline.ag for like just totally versatile amounts of bets because they offer literally everything. But MyBookie is the most user-friendly sportsbook, at least one of, in my opinion. So if you want some easy and simple, go over to MyBookie. They have all the UFC prop bets. They have parlays. You can do everything. You can actually click the link in the description of this video and go sign up. It helps us out as well. It doesn't do anything really crazy, to be honest. It just gives us like a little play money to put into the bets and whatnot for the channel. But all right. So this fight here, Jorge Masvidal versus Kamaru. Let's talk about the first fight. You look, Masvidal did have his moments in the striking. I mean, definitely can compete with striking with Usman. He's the better striker. But Usman does bring a very nasty jab, and he has improved since that first fight. Usman's strength in the clinch, advantage over Masvidal. Wrestling ability, advantage. He was able to get Masvidal down, I believe, 5 times in that first fight. Granted, didn't really have any dominant moments. I feel like in this fight, Masvidal in the full training camp, his gas tank's going to be better. I feel like this fight goes 5 again. We're looking at 5 rounds. I feel like it goes the way of Usman 49-46 or even 50-45. I don't know for sure why. I do have a little inkling that maybe Masvidal does catch him and surprise us all. because you look at Gilbert Burns, he was able to land that overhand. Masvidal has more power than Gilbert Burns. He has more knockouts on the record, I believe. I don't take that for 100% fact. I got to double check. But I do think pound for pound boxing punching power, Jorge Masvidal is a step above Gilbert Burns. And Gilbert Burns seriously hurt Usman. The difference is Burns posed a serious threat when they get to the ground, which is obviously why you saw, Usman standing up, kicking him, punching the body. This is a different fight, though. This is an interesting fight. I feel like Jorge Masvidal is going to have a similar outcome to the first fight. The crowd may slightly sway it. I would love to see a knockout and a finish on either side. I do hope it's more entertaining than that first fight. I know that fans don't like that cage holding style, and I understand why, because it's really not looking towards a finish. And if you look over at one championship, that doesn't count for shit. You hold them against the cage, you're not getting any points. They'll give you a damn red card. Like, listen, you're stalling. That's one thing I love about one championship as well, and also the full fight judging. The way that they do that is very cool. But with the UFC, I don't think they break it apart quickly, but the booze will definitely encourage them to break it apart. I'm going to pick Usman on a decision. I'm going to check out the Masvidal knockout prop bet because I'm very curious what it is. Let's find out. Usman's a minus 375 favorite. Masvidal prop bet by TKO or knockout. Plus 585. Usman's never been put down. So obviously, the likelihood of that has to be low. I mean, mathematically, if you've never been knocked out before. But he has been stunned, and he's been stunned against good guys. Jorge Masvidal is an absolute savage with striking. I think Usman's going to look to control and do a lot of holding, a lot of clinch work, but I still feel as though he wins, but Jorge Masvidal does have a chance, probably more so in the first 2.5 rounds. I'm going to pick Usman. I'm not changing my pick. I think he wins this fight. But I do have to acknowledge Masvidal has opportunities for victory, even if highly unlikely, according to stats and what we saw in the last bout. That's the main event. It's an excellent bout. Smash that like button because we have more. It's not over yet. We're going to talk about some betting. You guys can let me know in the comment, or rather in the live chat, anything you want to ask me about bets, any ideas. Let me know what bets you guys are placing. We'll talk about the betting odds in a more deep fashion here. All right. Quickly bring up the parlay clicker. We'll be able to potentially play a couple parlays here. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Smash the like button if you have not already. We're going to get into the parlays to play portion of this video pre-fight show. We're going on almost 40 minutes now, man. We're putting it out there. We're definitely going to be here for at least another 5-10 minutes. So stay tuned. Jorge Masvidal, Namajunas, and Jessica Andrade. How live are these underdogs? If I woke up tomorrow and didn't watch the fights, who do I think has the best chance for an upset? That's one of the most difficult questions ever. I don't know if really any of them. I think that Valentina is as lock as you get. So I am going to put Valentina on my guarantees parlay. I feel as though Weili Zhang is a very strong confidence pick. Namajunas, if she has the performance of a lifetime, can definitely win. But looking at her last fight, looking at her last couple, really, she looks great in the first 2 rounds, and then it starts to slow down. And that is not going to be something she can do here with Weili Zhang. Not at all. Jorge Masvidal, Kamaru Usman. Even though I talk about the possibility for Masvidal to knock him out, we saw this fight prior. We know the style of Usman. Unless something really wild went out there happening. If they're breaking them up every time they clinch, it should be Usman. If you want to do the 3-champ parlay, you're sitting at about a plus 128. Is this asking for an upset? It definitely is. When you parlay 3 and stills, how many times have we seen the belts change hands on the nights? It happens, especially with a 3-fight title card. I don't know. Plus 128. I do have a little bit of this locked in. I have a sprinkle on it, but I don't believe it's just something you want to throw the house at. So we are going to leave it there at the plus 128, and we're going to change it up. We'll talk about a different parlay, and we'll talk about some other ideas for what we could do as bets here. I like that parlay, though. I do think it's fairly safe, but I want to talk about some fighters on the earlier portion of this card rather than just throwing the house down on the last 3. You're shitting your pants for the whole night. Okay, Zhang. I love the pick of Zhang. Do I love Dana Batagral? I like Dana Batagral, but we're going to come back to him. Stefan Sekulek. not feeling putting him on my parlay. To be 100% honest with you here, I like Jimmy Crude on the parlay at plus 113. If I have to add somebody else and I don't want to put, just all main event fighters here, Dana Batragorl is a great guy on the undercard. They're all minus 200 favorites, and it brings you to a plus 208. I do think there's some good possibilities with that plus 208 for these three favorites here. If I have to add one more leg to the parlay, and I want to add somebody on this card, which I feel is going to give me the best result, I like Valentina. The problem is, it's plus 269. It doesn't give you that much value. So I'm going to unadd her and put Usman plus 290. Is that better? Or do you take the higher risk and go to a plus 362 with Weili Zhang? This right here is a minus 200 for each of them at least. Strong confidence parlay pickup. Of course, dogs can deliver. There are some serious dogs on this card. This is a favorite parlay, and it's 4 strong confidence picks. If you guys wanted to get crazy and throw down all of these and go 7-leg plus 602, try it out. Is the guarantee of success there? Absolutely not, because the more you add, when you get into these 7-fight parlays, things get crazy because this is the fight game. Dogs that I really like that are maybe worth a bet, I feel like Oliveira is probably one of the dogs that I think are coming barking to this fight here. I think Uriah Hall is a live dog, but as I mentioned, I still picked Weidman. But if you really like Uriah Hall, if you did a double dog parlay of Oliveira Hall, it's a plus 406. I can't guarantee success on that one. But something that I think is possible with a dog parlay is if you parlayed up Alex Oliveira, Brendan Allen, and then you throw in the more confident pick like Zhu Rong. Plus 420 for this 3-fight parlay with one dog on the card. Again, be intelligent with it. But there is serious possibility of success for this. I really believe so. Wrong Crude Usman. That's the parlay you got. Let me check out the parlay that you got, man. Yeah, I agree. No, Thomas, the and still parlay, I'm not throwing much down on it because I feel like it's a jinx. Wrong Crude Usman. I like that parlay. Let's check that value out, man. Let me see what's up with that. That's a 3-fight parlay that I really feel like could deliver for us. I think you may be onto some real magic right there. Usman. Wrong. Fruit. Plus 170. Parlay recommended by Thomas Howard. Give our boy a shout out. A big fan. He's an OG supporter. Plus 170. I like his parlay. That's his pick. I'll be honest. I personally would play that as well. I think the and still parlay makes me shit my pants a bit, but if you're looking to throw some money, like if you're looking to throw real money at a parlay, this is more so the one I personally like. Not that you're not going to get the and still. Fight game is crazy, man, and the MMA gods may have something else in store for us with the championship bouts. I feel like there's some money to be made on this card. There's going to be a ton of action to enjoy. I'm super pumped for this whole event. That's pretty much it, I feel like, for the betting preview. I think you guys pretty much see what's going on here. There's some possibilities for dogs, but I'm not saying bet the house on them. I feel like live dog is Oliveira. Live dog, you're going to see Tristan Connolly. Live dog, Stefan Sekulek. Live dog, Uriah Hall. Those are dogs I really like on this card. Sure, Aorian and Molina is a pick'ems fight. I do think that can go either way. Overall, though, we have a very fun card in store for us for UFC 261. I'm super excited to see it live. I am not going to be doing a live stream tonight. Just going to enjoy the fight with friends and family. But stay tuned. I'm doing full post-fight coverage. We're covering all the championship fights individually, breaking them down, talking about what's next, what my thoughts are for it. And also, we'll give you guys my full card recap and reaction. And we'll talk about what happens on this card. We're going to be finding out very soon. As of right now, 5:29, 5:30, 30 minutes out until the first fight. If you're just tuning in, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. We're gonna get some money tonight and we're gonna have some fun, guys. Follow my social media: Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. It's linked in the description. In the first fight of the night, I'm gonna answer your question, Aiden Matthews. I do think the shorter girl wins. I do think Ariane Carnolesi pulls off a victory in that fight, and I do think she's a strong pick. I'll see you guys all very soon. Good luck with your bets if you are placing any. Appreciate everybody who tunes in and supports. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and that is it for this video. See you all very soon.